Hello RD family, it's your girl Rachel Design. Welcome to African American First Series. This is episode 8, where we'll learn about who organized and served as the first president of the first major African American trade union. One of our country's leading spokesmen for African American workers, Phillip Randolph, was born in Florida in 1889. After moving to New York City at the age of 20, he worked as a waiter and an elevator operator. And in both jobs, he tried to organize his fellow workers to protest against deplorable conditions. In 1925, Randolph tried to organize the poorly men and women who worked on the railroad sleeping cars. He founded the All-Black International Brotherhood of Sleeping Cars and served as its president and held this position for 43 years. In addition, he was the first African American to serve as the international vice president of the AAF-CIO, a major labor organization formed in 1955. Randolph also made history by proposing a major march on Washington to take place on July 1st, 1941. It was to be a march of African Americans from all over the country to protest discrimination against all black workers in the defense industry. President Franklin Roosevelt tried to dissuade him, but Randolph said the march would take place unless the president issued an order to ban discrimination in defense plants. Roosevelt finally gave in and issued an executive order on June 25th. In 1947, Randolph began putting pressure on President Harry Truman, who had created a peacetime draft, but had not included a provision to desegregate the armed forces. Finally, the next year, Truman issued an order that did away with discrimination in the military. Randolph was also the director of the famous 1963 March on Washington, which called for civil rights for African Americans and made Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. a national figure. The chief organizer of the march was Barry Rustin. After Randolph's death in 1979, the crowd of predominant people who attended his funeral was led by President Jimmy Carter. If you're interested in finding out who was the first African American woman to start a modeling agency, then come back for episode 9, where we'll learn about Joanne Potter's answer in the African American First book. We'll see y'all in the next video.